Hello everyone and welcome. Yes, my name is Arafile. Welcome back to another episode of Look Out and Shout. Carrying on with the Stunticons, today we are reviewing Fanstoys FT-31B Magnum, their version of a G1 Wildrider. So we're carrying on with this set of reviews. As I said, I'm going to knock out about 4 of these reviews pretty quickly before Bandit gets out. This figure was originally released back in 2020. I have now backtracked a little bit to pick up this figure. So we have typical artwork on the front of it, nice characteristics, cartoon style drawing. On the back of the box you see the figures that were out at the time. We have Spoiler, who will be reviewed next, and we have nice product shots on the back. Again, this was a bit more of a simpler time for product shots, along with the biopic of the Wildrider character, or the Magnum character. Whether or not these were released in this order, I am going to do them in reviews of letter order. So we did Road King first, Magnum second, and Spoiler will be third, with Smokey being fourth. Don't forget, of course, you can sign up to become a Patreon member where you get early access to this review and other reviews as well. I'll put a link in the description below. And if you want to join and become a member of the many tier offerings that are available, please feel free to do so. Without further ado, let's get on with the review. And there he is in his robot mode. It is a bit of a duller colour scheme, just naturally, as per his designs, but Fanstoys have done a very good job making this part possibly the prettiest robot mode to look at. The things such as the red arms, the metallic paint used, even the grey on the chest really breaks it up nicely. It has the same kind of colour scheme to one of the Battle Chargers, Runabout, Run Amok, I can't remember which is which. And it's a very sunken colour scheme and there's not much to make a figure pop. Fanstoys have risen to the challenge again with their brilliant painted figures, as they always are. And it just has really made this figure come to life. I was very pleased to get a hold of this one, and maybe my favourite of the set so far. He does come across with some of the limitations. He is a 5-year-old figure now, and I think this is very much what we're seeing of either reissuing older figures or just older figures in general. They don't have all the kind of bells and whistles that some more modern releases do, which is understandable. But otherwise, yep, he stands really good. There's some good articulation, which we'll get into. And he looks brilliant with some good weight to him as well. Let's get in for a closer look. So let's try and get him into the focus. I have turned down the brightness on the light box to try and get a look at his noggin in particular. That might give you a better look. Get a torch on it. Lovely metallic paint used there. It's just really, really vibrant. I'll quickly show you actually the other face sculpt he comes with. So hopefully you'll see that as well, but it's much more of a grimacing face, an angry face. It's got that same face colouring for the gap in the mouth, which is kind of a Fanstoys thing, whereas on the head at the moment is a kind of a smirk, sort of an unimpressed face, but I really do like how it looks. It just brings a lot of character to life in the figure, which I'm really pleased with. I didn't think it would be, given its duller colour scheme, but I think it really does capture characteristics of the character really, really well. Love things like the shiny alloys used there. Now, what has plagued this figure, to my understanding, and my copy is no different, is this. That is very loosey-goosey. You can see it's very easy to top it up and top it down. I think you can get some furniture polish on it that can tighten it up. That's what I've heard anyway. Yeah, I think that is a problem, and it is on my copy. It is mildly annoying. If you've got him in like a looking up pose, it doesn't take much for him to kind of shape back down. He didn't at that occasion, but you have to take my word for it. So yeah, articulation up, doesn't really look down, can look all the way around. And we've got some fairly mildish ratchets, tight but not cracky ones, on the shoulder, outward on the friction, bicep rotation, only 90-degree bend at the elbow, wrist rotation, a little bit stiff, well, individual finger movement I should say, and knuckle as well. These are a little stiff, so just be a little careful you don't break them on your copy if you have handled it. Waist rotation can go the whole way around, funny enough. No ab crunch, although I said that about Road King as well. Now I'll quickly show you some articulation. Quite tight ratchets, and I don't think it's going any higher than that. So not quite a full up 90 degrees at the hip. Outward on a friction, but does hold. Over 90 degree at the knee, but that feels a little loose to me. Something feels either loose at the hip or the knee. But there is a double ratchet there for friction at the knee, but also ratchet as well. Now, actually, I'll just show you this. You can see that gap there, no hip skirting gap. I don't think it came with it unless it's fallen off. Yeah, that's a bit of a shame. I don't think I've missed anything. I don't think it folds out anywhere. Bit of an unsightly gap. Would have liked something to close it off. It will maybe enable transformation a bit more, but it's a little unsightly. And finally, very good ankle tilt. He actually holds the weight quite nicely on the legs. There's a lot of weight in the legs. So yeah, he does hold it quite nicely. And his only other accessory that he comes with is his gun, which is actually quite a nice looking gun. It's quite a long shaped blaster. I've tried this a few times and I think it is very temperamental. It's probably the worst thing I'll say about it. As a matter of fact, I'll actually try it in the other hand for a change. So it goes into the grooves as you'd normally expect and tighten it up. What I've noticed on his other hand to what he's holding at the moment, on this hand, it is a very loose connection. It doesn't take much to knock it and lock it out. Maybe this one is a bit tighter still. That's okay. His left hand has a bit more tolerance to it. But yeah, nice gun. Do like it. It's pretty sniper rifle-y or barrel-y, but that's cool. I think that is quite good. And that's about it. So on to some comparisons. Foreboding for the next review. Here he is alongside Fanstoys Spoiler, their version of Breakdown. Yeah, interestingly, when you get him in hand, I much prefer Wildrider. I don't know why. I just think he comes across cleaner, better. At least my copy does. I feel like he just ticks a lot more boxes. We'll see what this is like when I get to it on review. They should naturally be in keeping with one another and obviously have the same red faces. But yeah, that's how they look together. Here he is alongside Magic Square's Munitioner, their version of a Masterpiece Swindle. Yeah, okay. It's surprising that they are the same height, but probably makes sense. But I say surprising because they are going for two different ways of combining up, I suppose. I guess Fanstoys, this isn't going to be a whole leg as such, it's just going to stick on a leg, but this guy's going to have parts forming in and of itself. Different approaches, but same scale with one another, and they are keeping with the Masterpiece Carbot scale, more or less. But that's how these two look together. And with one of the larger box, MP36 from Takara. That's probably right. It makes a lot of sense. Again, you can really see that kind of dullness of the two of them. The grey is very dominant. But Fanstoys have really made this colour scheme pop. It's very attractive. It's nice to look at for what is a dull colour scheme, and certainly alongside Megatron, makes you just enhance that red all the more. Now, just to show you how to take his head off, as it were, to change the face, there is this top section of his head that comes away on the pegs, and that exposes the top of the head, which you pry that off with your finger and then put this on. It's only one peg connector there. So yeah, that's how you do it. Otherwise there's no obvious groove. Okay, let's get this guy transformed up, shall we? And here he is in his alt mode. That is a lovely Ferrari 308. And it actually was a good transformation. This was back in a time I like to think that Fanstoys did fun transformations. It was good. It was a good size of puzzling. Maybe a little bit awkward getting the legs over to tab into the chest. You had to give it a bit of oomph to connect everything in. Okay, it's a Carbot transformation as well. There is only so many pieces, so many places I should say, that things could go. But really do like what they've done come the end of it. And it kind of feels like the total package for what this should be. It's a good looking robot mode, it's a good transformation, and it's a good looking alt mode come the end of it. I'm quite impressed. It doesn't have maybe all the bells and whistles that some other releases have had since. Again, this is a 5-year-old figure now, but broadly speaking, it does the alt mode of a vehicle with the diecast very, very well. Even if it is missing a couple of bits of an articulation that you can sometimes have with a car. That is about it, though. It looks very good. Let's get in for a closer look. Now, I'll start by saying I have got these headlights up, and I think this is so cool. I must admit, I forgot this had this feature. But that's how it looks, a more flattened, complete look. But you can fold these down and get these headlights open. One is a bit more sunken than the other, but you can get it. I think that's a really nice feature and very much the style of the time. Now, the only thing I'd say is a bit of a minor disappointment is that the doors don't open. They are just kind of detailed on. And this is where I say it is a victim of its time. We've had some X-Transbots releases and other car releases where you can get the doors open, and it just would have been a nice additional feature. But then you say, would you just be looking at the side of a robot rather than the inside of a car, rather than a console and a steering wheel? But broadly speaking, that's about it. It does the job really well. It rolls like an absolute champ. I think that is really cool. rubber tyres as well, which is always very nice for me. I love the yellow rear lights as well, even if the image is slightly broken off, but I think that's because I haven't lined everything up, and the exhaust detailed as well. Broadly speaking, very, very good. They've gone for moulded wing mirrors and windscreen wipers. Some like to do rubber accessories, particularly on the wing mirrors, so they don't break off. Fanstoys didn't do that. I don't know if this is a negative, but it's a kind of natural byproduct. It does look quite dull in this form, and by that I mean the main colour is the charcoal black or the brown or whatever colour you want to say he is, this very muted black. Because you haven't got the chest piece in robot mode, that silver underside piece, because that's living on the underside of the car, the most vibrant colour in this mode is the red, and it's only one strip of it. Well, save the alloys as well. So this colour does kind of dominate, and it is very light absorbing. It's not much they could do about it. It is the colour of Wildrider. I think it's a shame because it's a very pretty alt mode, it's a very good looking car mode, and it's a very nice colour scheme that they've done for it. By that I mean a nice paint adaptation. But it is also very light absorbing because it's very muted and stronger and deeper colours. It hasn't got that, say, lighter elements such as the chest piece with the blue accents to react the light much more as you see on the underside than it does on top. Now I'll quickly show you weapon storage, nice simple one. For the gun that he comes with, fold back the handle, you get a different handle with a peg that goes into this groove just on the back here. You might not see it, just there, and it's a bit of a tight fit. It's taken me a few attempts to get it into place and to stay in, but once it's in, it pegs in nicely. Of course, his only other accessory is his face sculpt or his additional head, and I don't think there's any place for that. That's a bit of a minor shame, but yeah, it's cool that he can store his gun and go shooting as he's running into battle. Okay, on to some comparisons. Here he is alongside Takara Smokescreen. Yeah, that works. It is, again, it's a carbot scale, different cars, different approach, but all of these cars are going to more or less keep in scale with one another, same dimensions, same sort of length. Yeah, I like that. It's going to be quite nice putting them alongside some of the Takara carbots if you've got Prowl, if you've got Fanstoys Jazz or Mate Toys Jazz or any other Jazz that's out there. It's going to look quite cool. But yeah, that's a nice comparison. Bit of foreboding for a review soon. Here he is alongside Fanstoys Smokey, their version of a drag strip with his guns attached. Quite a difference, and I'll get to that when I get to this review. This is much wider than that is. The six-wheeler Formula 1 car or Indy car is wider than the Ferrari. Possibly, maybe. I'll get to that when it comes to it in due course. But that's how they look together. Previous review, still in alt mode. Here he is alongside Fanstoys Road King. This set is going to look so cool when you've got all five of them together. I mean, there's a little teaser for you now. I mean, they're all going to look good against one another because they've been designed to be in keeping with each other. But yeah, I like that. That's going to be really cool. It's going to be a shame to combine them and lose the complete image. What is my view on this wild child? I really am impressed with it, and I kind of thought I would be. The negative point, which I'll get straight away, is just the paint scheme or the colour scheme of Wildrider. As I've said throughout the review, it is naturally dull colours, particularly in this mode. It doesn't exactly reflect and bounce off. Even if the paint job is nice, it was kind of going to be a challenge to do because it doesn't pop like a Bumblebee or a Sideswipe, characters like that. It is a duller colour scheme, even if it is a very nice metallic red that's being used on it, and in the robot mode you get a nice chrome chest piece as well. But I can't find many faults with it. I think the only fault in robot mode is his loose neck, which certainly was on my copy. As I understand, it's the same with other people's as well. Bit of an annoyance for my copy again, with not being able to hold the gun in one hand very easily. Seems to be better with the other hand. It's nothing you can't work around. And maybe a bit of lack of modern day accessories, where, as I've said before, some other more modern Fanstoys releases throw in a plethora of accessories, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. Sometimes you end up not knowing what to do with half the accessories, but one changeable face and one gun possibly could be a bit limited. At the same time, what else is Wildrider going to come with? But I really like the transformation. It was clever, just the right balance of a puzzle but not frustrating. Everything tabs in very, very well. It's got that typical Fanstoys feel. It's really hefty when it's in a car mode. It's very bulky and solid. Love the fact there's no dragging across the ground, the rubber tyres. It would have been nice if the doors opened. Perhaps, maybe. But I do particularly like how the headlights fold up as well. I think that's a lovely little small feature they didn't have to do, but I'm very glad they did. Articulation in robot mode is very good, particularly around the ankle tilt. The ab crunch would have been nice, but I think maybe that's going to be affecting the transformation, but it can't really, can it? Because it's going to stick on. It's not going to be a leg. It's going to be a shin pad, effectively, and that's going to be interesting enough. So maybe they could have engineered one. And I certainly feel now the bigger figures come with ab crunches nowadays, not so much the Masterpiece Carbot scale. I think they had a challenge with its colour scheme. It is a duller, light-absorbing colour, and particularly in robot mode, they've done such a good job. It does reflect. It's very pretty. Probably my favourite, maybe, of the set so far. I haven't got Bandit in hand yet, but much as I do like Road King, and I really, really do, this guy just does everything right. It's a simple transformation, it's nice and compact, everything tabs in, and it's very pretty, even if its colour scheme overall is a bit dull. Based on this, I give this guy 4.5 for my star badges. The only other thing that could be a slight negative maybe is the price. You can get it for £100 or just over. I've seen some people charging $180 for it. It's a lot for what is still a Masterpiece Carbot scale. That's kind of all you're getting, and maybe you're not getting the full accessories with it or the full blanket of things to say it's over £100 worth figure. But I'm not going to say that you are going to get a Fanstoys figure outside of the mini-bot scale for under £100 realistically. But it does everything it needs to do, comes with the instructions, a collector's card, comes in nice packaging, and it is a nice transformation come the end of it. I'm quite happy with it. I'm very pleased I've got it in my collection. That's why it gets that score. And there we go, that is my review of Fanstoys FT-31B Magnum, their version of a G1 Wildrider. I'll put some photos up at the end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and hit that subscribe button, because I will see you on the next one.